Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Red Reaction after Liverpool, well, didn't bother their arse showing up to play Real Madrid, and we got our arses handed to us 3-1. I'm the host tonight, Keith, and I'm joined by Grizz and Avy. Lads, how are yous?
Yeah, good. As well as can be expected after tonight.
More upbeat than I was expecting, Avy, I'm not going to lie. And Grizz, what about yourself?
I'm all right, pal.
Good. You look you see me.
Yeah, just had a bit of cake.
Yeah.
Topping it off with some milk, not tea.
Yeah.
Get me in the mood. I needed some energy sort of to come onto the show today. I think we all needed.
It's a hard sell, this one. It's a hard sell. It's one of these things that, you know, you do these shows, and when we're winning, it's all great. It's all roses and high fives all around. And then you come on after nights like this, but we still have to do it. So, yeah, Liverpool, absolutely woeful tonight, lads. Let's not beat around the bush on this. It was a stark reminder of the form we've displayed all season. I personally thought we had turned a corner after the last few games, including Leipzig, and then into the Premier League games where we looked to have played a bit better. But the tempo wasn't there, the rhythm wasn't there. We've got a super chat in straight off the bat from King Rich. It's on Klopp, same midfield as Villa, and Naby gets hooked again. Well, Rich, we will come on to this as the show goes on, about the team selection, about Klopp's role, and certainly about Naby Keita. So thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate that greatly. But we will talk about those things as they come. But I just want to start with the lads there with the team selection. Avi, I'm going to start with you. What did you make of the lineup, and were you surprised? Were you happy?
Very good choice to go to Avi first, because if he doesn't out him, I will out himself.
That's fine. Yeah, I was on a pod on Saturday, and I thought I had an inkling that Naby would start against Madrid, funnily enough. But that was more sort of hope and positivity, and just saying, yeah, it was more of a joke. But yeah, lo and behold, he actually did start, which was a bit weird. I thought the Jota inclusion was a bit weird for me too. I thought he would have gone with Bobby just for that extra protection, because we know how the midfield three operate. But no, he went with Jota, Salah and Mane. And yeah, unfortunately, the first half was an absolute stinker from us.
Yeah, it really was. Grizz, what about yourself? Team selection, happy? And now think at the beginning, not in hindsight, when you seen it at the start.
Yeah. No, I can't get away from it. I tweeted, these were my exact words, I think my exact words. The most sort of highest energetic midfielders that we've got makes sense, because we're going to try to press the life out of them, and the quickest forwards we've got to press their centre backs. I was very wrong, but my mistake doesn't mean shit. Klopp was very wrong, and it means everything. There lies the difference. I was happy with the lineup. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we should. No. There was, barring our two centre-backs, fifth or sixth choice, or sixth and seventh, maybe even, that was probably as good as team we can put out. Give or take Thiago for Naby, which turned out to be crucial. What I will say was I was 100% surprised with Naby starting. So even though the teams came out and I saw the teams and I thought, this could work, I could see the logic behind it. I could see it making sense in the theory. I was 100% surprised. And especially the person that was taken out of it was Thiago. Because Thiago is our most quickest of thought up here as a central midfielder. And we were playing up against not thoroughbreds in terms of up and down, box to box, your physical presses. We were up against three of the smartest central midfielders in world football. And it showed. I'm sure we're going to go on to it, but just a quick answer to your original question. I was okay with it, but I was very surprised with Naby starting.
Yeah, my take on it was I was happy enough as well, but again, Thiago missing out, I wasn't happy with, and I would have gone with Genie missing out. I think Genie. Hindsight's a great thing, and I'm gonna lay into Genie as this show goes on.
Let me just quickly answer. Let me just quickly ask Mr. Mohammed Mansour, where did I make an excuse? I haven't made any excuse. There you go, centre back excuse from Grizz. Real didn't have Ramos and Varane. I actually just praised their midfield, and I haven't said nothing about our excuse. But anyway,
I think what he's just meaning is, you said, apart from the fact that we haven't
got our first choice, and that's fact.
Centre backs,
and that's
not an excuse. Yeah, I mean,
that's fact.
It's certainly not an excuse. It is a fact. But yeah, the team lineups, looking at it when it came out, I thought, right, the glaring omission was Thiago. And I think it should have been Thiago in for Genie personally. But I can understand the logic of playing Naby Keita against the midfield like that. But when you play a midfield of Naby Keita, of Fabinho, and of Gini Wijnaldum, you expect one thing from them. Grizz, I'm going to stay with you on this. You expect one thing from a midfield like that, and it's work rate. You're up against, as you touched on there, Modric, Kroos, Casemiro. They're not the quickest players, but they are three of the most clever players. They get the ball, they know how to use the ball. So what you don't want to do is let them have the ball and let them do what they want with it and let them fill their boots. You know, we just played into their hands, and it was, as I said, it was a sign of the bad times we've been having. There was no intensity in the team from the first minute. How did you think we started the game? Avi.
Sorry,
I'll go to Avi. I thought you were frozen there, Grizz.
No problem.
I thought our cohesion in the middle was extremely poor. I saw Genie misplace 3 passes in the first 15 minutes. And that sort of set the tone in that first half. Naby was strolling around. He wasn't really pressing until Courtois had possession of the ball. Then he would push up a little bit. But Fabinho was left chasing shadows. I thought Fabinho was actually poor today, his positioning. Yeah. But terrible. on the whole, that midfield, it was dreadful. Misplaced passes, trying things where in the last 2 games against Wolves and Arsenal, we were trying to keep it simple, trying to keep it precise, but today we were trying things where it just wasn't going off for us. And the first half, the mistakes obviously was alternatively Kroos playing the ball over the top, which was effective. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective, and they scored from 2 mistakes. But I thought the tempo that Modric and Kroos and Casemiro had implemented, you know, they're clever footballers. You can see the intricate passes that Kroos plays with Modric and vice versa. You know, Modric is moving from left to right. Kroos is that player predominantly in that centre circle, spraying those passes. And Casemiro today, I saw Casemiro in the second half going going further forward than he usually does. You know, he usually likes to sit back. But I saw him, and they literally had a field in that first half. Probably patches of the second half too, but especially in the first half.
We actually gave them the best, easiest half of the season, probably. Yeah. No 100%. Word of a lie. Honestly, especially, never mind a Champions League quarterfinal. That might have been Granada or Levante out there. And Madrid. It wasn't even the Madrid of the pomp. Look, there's 3 ways of setting up in midfield when you're trying to defend. So one is the one that we utilize is the gegenpress. The second is a blanket defense when you drop right on top of your centre backs. And you just make it like, you know, the park the bus phrase is often used. And the third one is the one Madrid showed us today. And that's by keeping the ball away from your opponents. You just keep the ball, starve them of the ball. And when we did try to press, it was sporadic. It was not in uniform. It was individual press maybe from here and there. It was totally opposite of what we've done against Arsenal and Leipzig. Against Leipzig, I thought their coach had a shocker because against that gegenpress, he still tried to play football. Zidane, the demise of Zidane was way too early from our fans and of this Madrid team. Oh, they're finished. We were, you know, kids on Twitter were talking about 3-0 and 4-0. If we don't score, if we don't finish this leg in this game, if tie in this game, oh, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. This Real Madrid aren't or haven't got the record they have in this cup for no reason. I thought the way they defended their weaker centre backs, let's just say, I'm not saying Nacho and Militao. Yeah, they're twice the centre backs we've got, and I don't give a shit what anyone says. Phillips and Kabak have been admirable so far, but they're not a patch on Militao. And they showed it. But even with the centre backs, the midfield three showed the third way of defending, which is keeping the ball and being clever. They did not let any of our midfielders get near them. Not that our midfielders tried to get near them, which I have no answer, Keith. I don't know what happened with our press from the front to the midfield.
Indeed. Christopher Scott throws a super chat in. Thanks very much, Christopher. Really concerned over Mane's form now. We'll get on to that now in a few minutes. We'll build up to that, but yeah, he'll be getting it as well. And look, I don't want to be coming across as overly critical. We support all the players. We do our best, but in performances like that, I think there has to be a few home truths have to come out about them. So we will get on to Mane's form. But the first half starts now. Wijnaldum, I touched on him earlier. Wijnaldum has been one of the best servants for Jurgen Klopp, and he's given us some of the best moments of our lives. You know what I mean? But from the first minute tonight, I don't know what sort of performance we were getting out of Gini. Avi, you touched on it there. He's given the ball away 2 or 3 times at the start. There's a penalty claim at the beginning on Modric, or free kick. Free kick, wasn't it? It was outside the box. And it was a silly, he doesn't foul, but he connects with him. And it's like he puts his foot into him. Like, it's a silly mistake by Gini. He just didn't seem at it at all. And when Gini, we all know what Gini brings to the table. He's energetic and he keeps the hold of the ball and he can carry the ball. I've said it on multiple shows. He's one of the best ball carrying midfielders in Europe. Done none of that today. It's a little bit in the second half he started it, but it soon died away. But they were after getting the near miss on the Modric foul. There was another one on Benzema then with Kabak again. I thought that one was a bit unlucky. I thought Benzema was fouling Kabak myself, and it just sort of went in. Maybe did take him down, but there was a 6-1 half a dozen of another. But that's just my opinion. Madrid were getting into the game. We were chasing shadows, and that didn't overly bother me at the start because it's an away game in Europe. And as Grizz pointed out, you know, Madrid's form may not be the Madrid that we were used to seeing, but it's still Real Madrid and they're still at home, and it was still going to be a hard enough game. So the fact they had a lot of the ball didn't really bother me. But we were doing nothing when we were getting the ball from the very start. It was obvious sort of where the game was going. And it didn't really change as it was going on. So we're going to skip ahead to Liverpool. By the way, I just want to read out a few stats from the first half just to give context to why I'm not going to be bigging up too much of Liverpool. In the first half, Real Madrid had 9 shots, we had none. They had 5 shots on target, we obviously had none. They had 2 shots off target, we had none. Block shots, none. We had 1 corner to their 4, no offsides to their 2. 0 big chances, they had 4. This is in the first half. Counter attacks, none. Shots inside the box, none. Shots outside the box, none. We done nothing, but we had more passes than them in the first half. So what's that telling us? Do you know what I mean? They gave us the ball. They done what Brighton done to us. They done what West Brom were happy to do with us. They let us have the ball, and then they picked us out with a long ball over the top. Now, Grizz, I'm going to come to you. The first goal happens, I think it's around, 27 minutes. Toni Kroos picks the ball up from the centre-backs. He's in acres of space. What happens next?
What happens when you give one of the greatest central midfield players in recent times time and space? That's what happened. That's what happens. And then when you get a pacey winger who's been criticized, but every time I see him, he's dangerous. He may not be the finished article. He may not be the polished article. He's got a lot to learn, but he's dangerous. He's quick. He's run off Trent. He's run on to Phillips. Both of them have let him go. Well, no choice in Phillips' case.
Yeah.
Kroos has got time to have a cake and a tea like me. In the central midfield in a cup final in the opening 30 minutes. Are you taking the piss, Liverpool's midfield and forward? So many people clamoring for Jota to start over Bobby. I get Jota starting, But this is what you miss when you don't have Bobby.
Yeah.
These are the things that you take for granted when you start Bobby. If he's not pressing, he's leading someone else onto a press. I know someone brought up Mane. I know you said you were surprised with Thiago not starting over Gini. If I was to pick the team, I would have not picked Mane. And I've said it in previous shows. I think Mane's form has been atrocious, lads. Let's be honest. You know, we discussed the long COVID, possibly whatever. We're trying to make excuses for him because he's got so much credit in the bank for us. He's been an absolute hero and a legend.
Yeah.
But wow, does he look out of it? And not only few games, no pressing. No, it was his area of press. Gini was out of it. You give a world-class midfielder like Modric or Kroos time on the ball, and that's what they can do. An absolute sublime ball round to his chest. You know, you could even say Alisson was left in no man's land a little bit because he came out and he was, you know, then he had to revert. You know, he tried to check his position in goal, and the early shot caught him out. I'm not going to blame Alisson per se, but a very unlike Madrid goal. That was like I don't know. You see that kind of in the Premier League, like just a ball over the top. No need for intricacy in midfield. No need for Benzema dropping and linking the play. They've done the basics absolutely professionally.
Avi, the goal, it's a great goal. If we look at the, you know, take our Liverpool blinkers off, it's a great goal. You know, you put a ball like that on a plate, on a sixpence, and Vinicius has got a bit to do. You know, he takes it down lovely and he finishes it. But Trent should be on the cover there, in my opinion. Now, I'm not trying to, you know, dictate what you guys say on this, but it was poor from Trent, and it's something that, to me, Madrid targeted. That, so obviously it's the one all teams will always target, the Trent Phillips side, and the ball in between the centre back and the full back is one that they'll always try and use. Madrid were trying to use it tonight. Do you think there's any blame? Am I being too harsh on Trent and to a lesser extent Phillips, or is all the credit to Madrid for just taking, you know, finding the opportunity and absolutely nailing it?
The problem is when you give a player of Cruz's ilk, he'll pinpoint, and his accuracy at passing a ball, it's sublime. He played a 40-yard pass, 45-yard pass, and it literally hit Vinicius right on the two pence where he wanted it. And I thought it was a bit hard. I thought Phillips could have done a lot better. I thought there was a bit of a distance between him and Vinicius, who I thought was man of the match today for Real Madrid. He actually
Phillips was never going to catch up with. How is it Phillips' fault? Phillips will never be level with a foot race in Vinicius. He won't be.
Trent should have been chasing him.
The damage is done by then. The damage is done by Avy.
But that first touch that Vinicius takes essentially on his chest, Phillips could have been a lot closer than he was. After that, he's chasing shadows. You're not going to chase Vinicius, right? You're not. But I think it's harsh on Trent for the first one. I think we'll come to the second one, but it stems from how much space did we give Kroos to let that pass go? We gave him ample space, not just for the first goal. We saw it how many times in the first half? We gave him ample space to play that pass. So where was this press? Where was the Naby? Where was the Gini? Hence, I thought Gini and Naby, they kept switching in the first half. Who was on the forward press? Who was on the back press? There was no one. They were confused. Hence, you know, they were found in no man's land time and time again in the first half. So it's essentially stems from the first position, from when Kroos has that ball and he pings it. Then after that, it's Vinicius catches Alisson. I don't think there should be any blame on Alisson for that first goal. He just hits it nice, crisp, and it goes in. I think he got a hand to it. I think, but yeah, it just goes in.
But Keith, it's a lovely goal. Keith, before you move on, I want to ask your opinion because you know, you're a football man and you like the tactical side of things, right? But honestly, I'm baffled tonight. I'm baffled, Keith. So Klopp has obviously been thinking about this game for a while, and there must be a strategic plan. There must be, you know, he must have some thought into how he's going to sort of implement his game plan. And he must have seen this Madrid team play God knows how many times in his analysis. Yeah. What was the thinking behind not playing Bobby away from home, because Bobby's at his best, in my opinion, away from home in a Champions League tie, and not playing Thiago? You're two players that are involved or heavily involved in controlling the ball and the linking of the midfield to the attack, which was the two things that we were missing.
Yeah, Grizz, great point as usual by yourself. It's an excellent point because you've hit the nail on the head there. The two players that you'd want in that game are Bobby and Thiago because they move the ball the quickest. Right, Thiago moves it the quickest in midfield. He moves the people say he slows us down. He doesn't slow us down. He gets the ball, he's moving it, he's constantly trying to pick holes. And Bobby, for all that his faults that he doesn't score enough goals, he gels it together and he comes back in. I can't understand Klopp's thinking behind it. I can understand them putting in Jota, right? Because Jota is the hot hand at the moment. But not for Bobby, and that's the thing that I can't understand. The team selection, and we're going to come on to Jurgen Klopp in a while, right? Because he got a lot wrong tonight. But I'm with you, Grizz. I can't understand not playing Bobby and Thiago in that game. I just don't get it. In a game of that magnitude against a team like that, if you're going to play a high line, which we obviously tried to play tonight, and you don't press, you're asking for trouble. And if you're going to go in there and you're not going to press from the very front, as you've touched on there, Bobby Firmino does it. He harries, he hassles, he gets into defenders. What Nacho and Militao didn't want tonight was somebody harassing them, and he didn't blame get it because nobody went near them. So he did miss a beat on that. But I can't get, the team selection, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Looking at it at the time, I would be of the same opinion. Mane, we're going to come on to him. A lot of people are asking about him. His form is worrying at the moment. Rames has another super chat in here. Thanks very much, Rames. I can excuse anything, but never a lack of passion or want. Unacceptable. We need to talk about Mane, lads. Maybe bench him instead of Bobby. High line first half is insane at this point. Klopp at fault, right? So that's sort of tying in with where we're at the moment. So, Mane, let's take a minute and talk about Mane, lads, because he was very frustrating tonight. Very frustrating. He was going to ground with no contact a lot of the time. And the ref was as bad as a ref as you can see. I thought the Premier League were holding on to all the bad refs, but Mr. Felix Breich tonight was fucking terrible. But Mane is going down too easy. He's not going down when he should go down when he's in the box to get a penalty. He's going down when there's no contact and looking ridiculous. I just can't get into his mindset now. If it's a long COVID, I don't know. If it's just a burnout, I don't know. But, when we have him and Bobby not scoring, we have a problem. We can get away with one. But when we've got two of them, you're in trouble. Is Mane's game, Grizz, I'm going to ask you this, is Mane's all-around game minus the goals worthy of him staying in the team at the moment?
No, it hasn't been for a while now. But it's Sadio Mane, as Virgil calls him. And that's why you automatically think it's around the corner. This could be the game. Even I fell for it. Someone, these lads on Twitter that do the video edits, and someone done a brilliant one of Sadio Mane this afternoon. And I retweeted it and said, "Come on, let's see the real Sadio Mane." We haven't seen it, Keith. We haven't remotely seen it. This is why Klopp has to take the blame, because we can predict teams and talk about opinions on teams, and it don't matter. We can sort of slide our way out of it, and say, "Oh, I thought it was okay," and it doesn't matter in the long run, because who gives a shit about our opinions and our perceived lineups? But when the coach and he's rightly lauded as one of the best coaches in world football, makes such errors like he has this season, then he has to rightly get asked questions as well. Bobby we discussed it, didn't we, on the Fatback 4 on Sunday, that Bobby looked good against Arsenal. And you think to yourself, that 2-week, 3-week break he's had, he's looking good. And then we started discussing for Madrid, and the two options that stood out to us lot was either go hung-ho all four, play Bobby in a thing and play the three. Right, let's attack Madrid. Let's just try to startle them and surprise them. And maybe the press would have helped better that way. I don't know. Hindsight again. Or the second option was to drop Mane and play Jota. Neither of that happened. He went for sort of the three that he played against Atalanta. Again, world of a difference between Atlanta's pedigree in Europe and Madrid's. They were just too smart, too clever, all around the pitch. I'm afraid
they were. It was a bad day. Joe M puts in a super chat. Thanks, Joe. So our centre back excuse for the year no longer stands. Look, you can use the excuse if you want. It's a valid excuse in my opinion when you're down to the bones and you're playing them. But tonight Madrid had their two centre backs out as well. So they went in. Grizz touched on it. It's a higher standard of replacements coming in. Nacho and Militao hasn't played that much for them, but he's an experienced enough centre back. He just hasn't really settled there. The excuse is the excuse. It's we didn't go into the season with Nat Phillips in mind to be playing serious minutes. We are where we are. You know what I mean? We have to defend as a team better, knowing that we're limited at centre back, and that's going to move us on now to the second goal. And Avy, I'm going to come to you with the second goal now. 3 or 4 minutes later, 5 minutes later, is it? Madrid are in again, and this time it's it's a familiar sort of thing I thought we might have stamped out. It's the mistake. It's the gift of a goal from us to them. It's Trent. What's he playing at?
I don't know. He tried a cute pass to maybe Phillips, but he judged it completely wrong. He plays it into the feet of Asensio, who just sort of lobs it over Alisson. I know Alisson got a touch to it, but he was never going to stop that. It was there's obviously been a debate for the last 2-3 weeks over Trent's because he's been missing for England, that and why has he been missing when he's England's best right back? Well, it's mistakes like that. It's mistakes like that which come back to haunt us as fans, because I'm Trent's biggest fan at right back, and it was a moment of lapsing concentration. He didn't know where his surroundings were, and he just heads it back instead of going back into the ball. He heads it to the side, and after that, it was all game over, wasn't it? Once he scored.
Yeah, I suppose in some ways it didn't really change too much. If you can get a goal back, you get the away goal, but the killer blow it was we weren't playing like a team that looked like we were going to get a goal, and that was really the problem. I didn't think we'd be talking tonight about saying how Gareth Southgate was right, but it turns out he was, and Gary Neville and everyone else, and Trent just can't defend. I say that in jest, obviously. We were waxing lyrical about him against Arsenal, but he just had a bad game tonight. But he wasn't the only one. In fairness to him, he wasn't.
But what's going to happen now? But what's going to happen now with this whole hoo-ha with Trent? It's his performances are going to be judged by extremes now. There's no in between now.
Yeah.
So if he has a good game, you'll see Liverpool fans talking about him as he's the most perfect fullback, which he isn't. And then when he has a game like that, you'll get people saying, "Oh, he's the worst," which he isn't. Yeah. He had a shocking game, not only on the ball in terms of sort of all the mistakes that he made, but mentally. They rattled him. They had him triggered every time, lads. Yeah. Every trick in the book worked on him. And it was so frustrating to see, because it's his 3rd campaign, right? In the Champions League now? Or is it 4th campaign? 3rd or 4th campaign?
This is 4th, because he was in 2 finals and then we didn't get to the final last year. So his 4th campaign. So, you expect him to know that teams like Real Madrid will play every dirty trick in the book, and he's got to be wary of it. He's got to be sharper. He was getting aggravated, agitated by every sort of trick they were pulling off. It wasn't pleasant viewing watching Trent today. No.
Is that maybe because he hasn't got Henderson in front of him, who defends his position when he goes forward, and then obviously not having a Van Dijk or a Gomez next to him? Gomez not so much, but a Van Dijk. That lack of experience, that know-how.
Of course it is, but he can't be he can't have his hand held every time now. Every time he has a bad game, we say because it's not Henderson and VVD next to him. He's a world-class player in his own right now. You could say that he is one of the senior players. Well, he is one of the senior players in that back four or in that team even. So, I'm not going to make excuse for him. I'm sorry.
No, he's, like I said, we wax lyrical about him when he's doing the good things, but look, he didn't do the good things tonight, unfortunately. Now, one thing about it, I will say, Avy touched on something there, not having Henderson in front of him and the experienced guys beside him. Fabinho, I thought, was absolute poison tonight as well. Now, Fabinho was excellent against Arsenal in that number 6 position. I'm not going to sit here and lash Naby Keita and lash Wijnaldum and say, but Fabinho was okay. Fabinho was as bad as anyone in that first half. And maybe, what I said on Sunday was Fabinho in there allowed Trent and Robbo to play their natural game because he was covering and he was plugging the gaps. He didn't do any of that tonight. But the midfield, Darius Hoyt has a comment up there. Super chat, thanks very much. Midfield is going to be a problem next time. Thiago, Fabinho, and who else? We'll come on to that in a while. Darius, thanks for the chat. We'll come on to that when we're finished going through the game. And Jonathan has a super chat. Thanks, Jonathan. Naby is 26. Potentially his best years are ahead of him, but we're desperate for goals from midfield and we're too reliant on our forwards. What do we do with Naby? Well, funnily enough, we're coming up to Naby's big moment in the game here. He gets hooked. He gets hooked on 42 minutes.
This big moment. I like that, Keith. Yeah, no,
42 minutes. Now, I haven't read that. I was setting up for the show tonight. I haven't seen any interviews. Was he injured? What's the story with Naby? What's the word?
It's a tactical change.
Go on,
Tactical
Avy.
change.
You let Avy have first dibs on Naby because he championed his selection.
You're cocky. You can say it's champion. What I didn't understand was, look, Naby got 7-8 minutes against Wolves. Yeah. He didn't get any minutes against Arsenal. Okay. I put it out there that it wouldn't surprise me if Klopp saving him for Madrid. And look, he played him against Madrid. Was it the right decision? Obviously, in hindsight, no. Was it right to hook him off on the 42nd minute? I don't agree with that either. I think Klopp's culpable of that. You don't do that. With 3 minutes to go to halftime, you can wait, go to halftime. All right, they might have got a third. They got a third anyway in the second half. Go into the second half and just say, look, Naby, you're coming off for Thiago, right? It wasn't working. To bring him off, that's a signal. That's a massive signal. That's a signal to say, I'm singling you out. I'm singling you out because you weren't good enough there. You didn't do anything that I've told you to. You didn't follow the instructions that I've been telling you to. And we were led to believe that he's been sensational in training. So it's a tough one. It's a tough call because today that would have done. I don't think that does Klopp any favors bringing him off on the 42nd minute, and you obviously know that doesn't do Naby any favors either.
Yeah,
way to kill a person's confidence, and he's had no confidence. He's had no time or rhythm to build up because he didn't play him against Arsenal. He didn't play him against Wolves. He brought him on for 7 minutes against Wolves, and that game because of the.
Sorry. I absolutely agree with what you said. That it doesn't look good on Klopp at all, that decision.
No.
And obviously it kills Naby's confidence, of which he didn't have much anyway, right? Through the lack of fitness, through the lack of performances in a red shirt. But I can see Klopp's point of view in terms of he saved you for this game to give it everything you've got until you can't play no more or get injured, as the case sometimes is, right? And as I agree with the timing of it, it's not like Klopp, and I don't know what's happening there. I don't know what Klopp was going through his head. But I, just as a fan sitting at home, I don't know you, Avy, I don't know about you, Keith, I was going mad at Naby. Yes, I agree with you. I was getting mad at Fabinho and Jota. We'll talk about Jota and Mane were atrocious. 2 worst players on the pitch, right?
Salah wasn't much better either.
Salah pressing and Salah's energy was better than theirs. He wasn't much better. He gets the goal and his energy was better, in my opinion. But Klopp picks you and saves you. It seems, as like you said, Avy, in the mind, with a mindset that he's going to pick his most energetic, best pressers of the ball. None of them done that. Not only that, I'm sure there must have been some instruction in those team tactics for Naby to be on Cruz when he's don't let him get the head up and ping passes left, right, and center, which he was doing. And it was frustrating the shit out of me. So I can only imagine what it was doing for Klopp when he was visibly there and he had the power to bring him off. I totally agree with you. The timing was awful. I thought if he was going to do it after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
I agree with you, Grizz, 100%.
If you're going to do it, if you see it that it's fucking not even remotely working, 20, 30 minutes. You know the old Jose Mourinho, what he used to do? All right? So change it then or leave it till halftime.
Yeah.
Couple of minutes halftime indicates Klopp's mind went there. Yeah. He lost it there.
Owen Borg puts in a comment there that the dribble Naby did was the best thing that happened in the first half. And you know what, Owen, I sort of agree with you in that sense. He done a dribble. It was the only sort of attacking thing we tried. And it petered out and came to nothing, let's be honest. But Grizz is right. He didn't do what he was in the team for. Now, I think Genie was worse on the eye for me than what Naby was. The problem was Genie was making mistakes. Naby wasn't doing anything except for that dribble. Naby done fuck all in the game. Do you know what I mean? And Grizz is right there. If you're in that team, we the three of us here, I would say, we were happy enough to see Naby maybe in the team if he's going to press from, you know, put pressure on Kroos, put pressure on Modric and win the ball off them in dangerous positions. He was absolutely a ghost in that game. He'd done nothing. And it's so frustrating. To whip him at 42 is... I'd agree with you, Grizz. They were on 20 because he's not doing what you want from 20, from 30. But to do it on 42 was a bit of a mad one. In my opinion, it was a bit of a strange one. But he does it. And before we move, we'll come back to Naby at the end. I want to move on with the game. We get to half-time, we're 2-0 down. We're absolutely stinking the place out. It's one of the worst performances I've seen by Liverpool under Klopp. And there's been a few of them recently. This was terrible. Second half starts. We look a bit sharper. You know, not much, but we look a bit sharper. We come out of the blocks a bit. You know, there's a bit of intensity. Genie gets on the ball early, drives at it. Jota looks to try and make a few things happen. Scutters a little shot then, and it falls to Mo Salah, and Salah pops one in. Grizz, what were you thinking at that stage?
I was thinking we've shown some spirit, character, fight, energy, everything that we should have shown from the first minute. That's what I was thinking. It kind of made me more angry, even though we scored and got back into it. No, but you know what I mean? I got more angry. I mean, you know, there was no fist pumping from me or celebrating. I was like, you bunch of wankers. You should have started off like this.
Cowards.
Why did you not start off like this? You know? So yeah, you like to think that you get back into the game and 2-1. Even if we had taken 2-1 back to Anfield, game on. You know, a 1-0 victory, you know, does you. But even at 2-1, Keith, I just don't think our heads and Jurgen Klopp's heads were right. We're going for the second goal there, you know, and we've had a couple of warnings where they've countered us, and you know, from a corner, sort of they have a 3-on-1 against us. So it's just a bad day all around, Keith, from the team and Klopp.
We do get on top of them and we get the goal and we're on top. And Madrid look shaky, Avi. They look like they're on the ropes a bit. But as Chris touched on there, we just let them straight back into it. We opened ourselves up too much. At 2-1 away to Real Madrid in the Champions League, we seemed a bit too gung-ho, and then we were open to counter-attacks. Grizz touched someone there. The corner comes in. Courtois catches it. Is that the one Grizz throws it out? They go up, and Trent makes an interception at the... You know... Alarm bells all over the place there, Avi. Did you think we handled that second half well, or was it just that was a little flash in the pan from us and Madrid weathered that early storm?
There was a moment where I thought as soon as Jota, he dropped back 15 yards to collect the ball, and then he started driving a little bit towards Nacho and Militao. And I thought, do more of that because you will get them to make mistakes. You will bring Militao out, you know, to come for the ball. He did it like twice, one which led to the goal when he had that scuff shot and then Salah scores. But he wasn't doing that enough. Like, get the ball, go get deep, come from behind and just get the ball and run with it, because you don't, the last thing a defender wants, especially the amount of games that Militao, I think this was Militao's 9th game in all competitions this season, and Nacho Fernandez has been in and out of the team as well. The last thing they want is a pacey player like a Jota who's got quick feet, who can go left or right, coming at them straight up. He did that 2-3 times, and then we stopped. We went back into our shell. They could have bagged 4 or 5 today, Keith. That chance, from the corner when Courtois catches it and releases it straight away. Like, where are our players? Like, we've got Trent tracking back, and luckily he got that block. It was reminiscent of Barcelona versus Liverpool at the Nou Camp when they went free, and then we had obviously Robertson like chasing back, and luckily Dembele just scuffs his shot. It was the same situation today. A better pass than that, and we're going down 3-1 before they scored their actual third.
And they do get the third. And this one's a bit. I'm interested what the chat think of the third goal. Grizz, we're in a WhatsApp group, and there was some split opinions on whether Alisson was maybe at fault or not on that goal. Where do you stand on it? And the goal in general, what did you make of it?
Training ground stuff, amateur stuff. We're told that we've got a throwing coach. Does the throwing coach work at defensive throw-ins, or does he only work in attacking, or when it's sort of just in attacking when we have a throw-in? It's a great question by Grizz there.
It is, as it always is, Grizz. They always are.
You got to ask yourself, how easy did the opponents, from getting a throw-in in the right-hand side corner of our penalty area, suddenly have a couple of easy transition the pass into Modric, who slides it into what's his name again, Vinicius Junior. Trent, everyone watched the replay again. I have no idea what Trent is doing. Again, Trent is actually standing in the middle of the penalty area with one man to mark, which is Vinicius. He lets him he's standing still. He's not on his toes. When you see a corner taken, about to be taken, and you see defenders bouncing on their toes because they're alive and they're alert, they have to be alert. He's flat-footed in his penalty area, and Vinicius just walks off him literally, hits a shot first time, and then Alisson has an absolute clanger as well. There's no defending Alisson as well. It wasn't through anyone's legs or anything, or it wasn't in the corner. He didn't take a deflection. You expect a top-class keeper. If we see Pickford do that or Leno do that, we say, what a crap keeper. That's a mistake. We've got to keep the same energy for our own legend. He's 100%. A legend. Again, another legend of ours. Absolute legend of ours. But that's a shocking horrific mistake again against Madrid. What is it with us and fucking keepers making mistakes against Real Madrid?
No. We won't go. It's not on that level, but I get where you're coming from. I agree 100% with your point, Grizz.
The difference between 2-1 and 3. The difference between 2-1 and 3-1 could be absolutely vital, Keith. It is a huge error.
It is a huge error, and that's the thing. I think, and Avi will come to you now in a sec. They walk through us, lads. They,
walked. That's the problem. That's the problem, Keith. They walked.
Yeah. And it wasn't just from, it's not like this was a throw in to Vinicius and he hits it. There's a couple of bits of play there. They just not under any pressure. Fabinho, I don't think, is great on Modric. Lets him sort of just walk away from him. He hits it in. The argument for Alisson is that the shot comes quickly and through Phillips's legs. But when it's hitting the goalie like that, as Grizz says, if Pickford's doing that, or even like someone like another keeper who gets a lot of criticism, Hugo Lloris, if Hugo Lloris is doing that, we're diving on that and saying that's terrible goalkeeping.
Yeah, the only thing you could maybe say, I don't want to play devil's advocate, is maybe Phillips is, when he defends the shot, he's probably like blocked, his vision was blocked, but you saved that because that wasn't going into the corner. It was kind of straight at him, and I don't know why goalkeepers have this notion to dive away from the ball when it comes at them, and that's what he did, and it went underneath him, and that was a criminal mistake, and it's not the first time we've seen this from Ali as well, whether that's to do with not having a settled defense in front of him, not having a verge. or just a lapse of concentration. I think it's the latter, though.
Yeah.
And
So, go ahead.
I just want to say that even when we scored our goal, when Salah scores and the VAR and they let the goal, stand.
Yeah, that was a bit mad, wasn't it?
We never actually, and you don't expect this from a Liverpool team in Europe, we never actually took any control. We never thought, wait a minute, guys, we've got one back now. Let's calm, patient, let's reshape, get ourselves together again, and then let's see if we can, muster up another chance. We didn't do that at all. We just went again and again, which is so unlike a Klopp team in Europe. Why did we push straight away? And we still left gaps behind. We just never had that. And you expect with the players of Thiago's ilk, who's been there, done that. He did it last season. Fabinho, Gini, in that midfield three, you thought if anyone was going to say it, they could have rallied the troops around and say, look, guys, we've got to go back. We're not playing the greatest. So let's just calm it for the next 5-10 minutes. Let's just keep passing it around and see where it takes us going into the 75th, 85th, 90th minute.
I'm going to give you two names for that. I'm going to give you two names who are probably the two most ridiculed legends of the club you'll find anywhere in world football. Like how these two legends for Liverpool Football Club are ridiculed is beyond me. And some people who ridicule them need to have a look at themselves and give themselves a few slaps, because if I ever saw them, I'd slap them. Jordan Henderson and even James Milner. Those are the two players, more so Jordan Henderson, that knows when the game needs to be speeded up or slowed down, controlled, whatever. Even if he's not capable of doing it himself, lads, this is the crucial bit that people need to, when they listen to me or anyone else talk about Henderson, this is the bit where they need to listen to as well. Even if he can't do it himself, he gets everyone else to do it around him.
Agreed.
So even if he hasn't got the capability or the technical ability or the energy or whatever, he gets everyone around him to do that and brings the team together. And there was no one to do that today. Absolutely no one.
A great point, Grizz, because I think, and look, it sounds like I'm digging Georginio and Wijnaldum out there again, but Georginio wore the armband tonight and there was no leadership on the pitch by anybody. Nobody took it. And Zohaib says we had no control of the game at any point via Super Chat. Thanks very much, Zohaib, for that. I butchered your name, I'm sure, but I gave her a go, which is all I can do at this stage. But he's right, we had no control, and that plays into what you're saying there, Grizz, because Milner, for all his doubters and all, he does have that mindset of foot on the ball and let's try and see this out and let's try and do the smart things well. We never had that. And Henderson, as you said there, the players react to Henderson, whether he can do it or not, and it's an excellent point, another excellent Grizz Camp point, whether he can do it or not, he gets the others to do it. It's like Roy Keane at Manchester United. Players improve because he's there, and Henderson is the exact same. Players will put in that little bit better because he's there. And we missed that. We had no leadership whatsoever for the whole game. And Ramez puts another super chat, and it comes back to naivety showcased by Klopp and co. And I'm going to have a chat about Klopp now in a second, but I couldn't agree more. It was naive. It was silly because we're 2-1 down. Right, we've got a goal back. We didn't really talk much about our goal. It was just a scuffy enough finish. They took a long time doing that bleeding VAR check. I didn't know what was going on with that. It was a clear onside. I don't know why they took so long to give the goal. But we done nothing to get ourselves back into that. And does that come down to the management? And I'm going to blame Klopp, but I'm also going to question Pep Linders, because Jurgen Klopp has always said, and he's made it clear, that he loves collaborative effort from his coaches. So he loves to have, it's not all about Jurgen Klopp, and that's not to dissolve Jurgen Klopp or the blame, but when things go right, he loves to give praise to his coaches and the people that are giving him ideas. Liverpool have been very soft and very devoid of any leadership and aggression this season, I'd say, or even the back end of last season. Is Pep Linders doing enough? I know I've championed him that he could be a future manager, but is he doing enough with Klopp? Is it all Klopp, or what do you think? Grizz, I'll stay with you. What do you think? Is it a Klopp issue, this, or is it a coaching team, or what do you put it down to?
You have to look at all aspects. When it comes to tactical naivety, not having the team in the right shape, physically and mentally, it's yes, Klopp has the final, or you blame Klopp is the ultimate person in charge, but you got to look at all aspects. Game management, sometimes, and Jurgen Klopp, we've said it, his head hasn't been in the right place because we know the personal tragedies that he's gone through. And so, and it can scramble your brain. You can scramble your thinking, and that's where you need a good number two. Me and Carnage, I make loads of mistakes, but I've got the little man to back me up. Come and save the day. But he hasn't yet, and so so this is where Pep Lijnders needs to be interrogated, asked questions of, like, is he forceful enough? Has he got enough of a say, or the other fella? Say his name.
Peter Kravitz.
Peter Kravitz. These guys. I know we've discussed Pep Lijnders, but Peter Kravitz as well. Are they strong enough characters to say, Jurgen, this is fucking up in a bad way? We don't remotely look like a Liverpool team here. We need to change this. We need to do something different. Correct me if I'm wrong. We allowed 5 subs, right, in Europe?
Yeah. And I think if we'd have done the Naby one at half time, it would have counted. We would have still been able to make 3 in-play subs.
Yeah, no, I think you can make 3 subs in it. You can make 5 substitutes in 3 slots.
Yeah.
So, again, scrambled thinking. I could have easily named you 5. I could have named you fucking all the team to be subbed off, but I could easily have named you 5 players that I would have happily hauled off. Or change the tactic, do something, because it's not working. Yeah. And funny enough, we had probably our strongest bench in ages.
Yeah.
So there was every opportunity. Jurgen Klopp was I think totally scrambled their thinking, and I don't think his backroom staff helped him in any way sort of make any decisions, positive or negative.
Yeah, Kieran makes a point that there's a case that Klopp Guardiola did tonight and overthought it. Quite possibly.
Just another note, just a quick one on that. We know Peter Kravitz doesn't like the attention, and he sits back with his iPad and his charts and his pages and whatnot flicking over. But Pep Lijnders, ever since that Chelsea game last season at Anfield, this season, I don't know if you guys noticed it, because over here in the US, we don't get the fan noise. We can watch it without just the coaches shouting and whatnot. He's taken a back seat, Pep Lijnders. He sits down more often than he stands up. And usually before then, last season especially, the first sort of 29 games prior to the Watford game, prior to COVID and whatnot, he was the most animated. He was at times more animated than Klopp. Yeah. This season, he has taken a backseat. Whether that Chelsea game last season at Anfield, maybe words were said where Klopp said, "Look, you just need to take you do get a bit animated, take a seat back," or I don't know. But this season, it's been very glaring in my eyes that he sort of sits back and sort of looks at the game instead of like sort of jumping up and whatnot as he usually does.
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to assess because we only see when the camera pans to them.
Yeah.
So unless we're at the game, which we're not, we won't know. So that is something when I go to the game, and I can't wait for next season, lads. Oh, mate, I'm knackered. Can you tell? Like my physical demeanor today, my tone of voice. I'm emotionally drained. And it's not tonight. Lads, it's not tonight. It's not tonight. Losing 3-1 to Real Madrid in a quarterfinal of a Champions League is not the problem. It's not the issue.
No.
It's what we've done previously, and the damage is done, and we're in a state where we are on top of all the other things. It's Over to you, Keith.
No, just gonna say my man Zohaib. I didn't butcher it. Perfect pronunciation.
Yeah, you did. You was brilliant. What? No, you said it brilliant. No, you said it brilliant.
I gave it a go, and so thanks for that super chat.
I didn't pull you up on it, so it was good. It's good.
Nice one, Grizz, nice one. Very true, very true. I was expecting a text to say you made the balls of that. But however, lads, with Grizz, Grizz touched on something there that, the 3-1 defeat to Real Madrid away in the quarterfinal of the Champions League isn't the end of the world. But this season has been a bit of a shit show all around. We all know that. The performance, there's no getting away from the performance tonight, and the lack of intensity and the lack of fight by that Liverpool team tonight. It's 3-1. We got an away goal. How confident are you going into the away leg, at the home leg next week, that we can turn it around? Bearing in mind that we came back from 3-0 down against Barcelona.
I'm going to give a diplomatic answer, and I'm not going to give my usual sort of bull.
Your usual?
BS. Sorry, my mum's watching, so BS. I won't say the full
No,
word.
but you admit it.
Yeah, of
That's
course. If we were going back to Anfield with a packed crowd, 52,000, 54,000, whatnot, I would be confident than ever, Keith, that we can turn this around. 100%. We've turned it around against a Messi, Coutinho, Suarez team, you know? We can definitely turn it around against Madrid. You do feel, though, without any fans, Zidane will sort of, again, play this style where he will let us sort of press and he will let us sort of come on to the ball, but whether we'll have enough, I don't know. He might get some bodies back as well for that second leg. If he gets Ramos back, I don't think he is back, but if he gets a Ramos back, you know the mind games that he will kind of play. You know, there's no doubt about it. Over 90 minutes, he'll be the biggest crook of them all. But it's just one of those, in a full packed crowd, an early goal would have set the tone. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be Klopp here. We talk about Linders and Kravitz, but it's going to be all on Klopp this second leg because he knows what went wrong early on in this first game. So going back to Anfield, he can correct a few things. Hopefully, we can pick up a couple of wins before that. I know we've got Villa and whatnot, but I can still see us doing it. Whether we can keep a clean sheet, that's the big worry for me now.
Yeah.
We can definitely score past them, but can we keep a clean sheet? If it's Kabak and Phillips, who I thought Kabak, you know, I know you might come around to your man of the match. I thought he was my man of the match. I thought he did well. Apart from the first half where he had one sort of pass, he short-changed Alisson.
Yeah.
I thought he done relatively well. But yeah, if we get an early goal at Anfield, then yeah, who knows? But I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, I'm afraid, Keith. So it might have to be 3-1, extra time or something like that.
And Grizz, can you see a case where we're going to go back to Anfield? Abby makes a great point. You know, there's no crowd. If there's a crowd there, it's different. There's no crowd. Can we take them back there and get something from this game? We can't be worse than we were tonight. That's the thing I'd say.
I'm not sure about that either.
We can't be worse. That was
not
as
sure.
bad, Grizz.
I'm
That
not
was
sure.
a no fight, no heart, no nothing performance.
I'll remind you of 6 defeats in a row at home to far worse opposition.
Yeah, and I would say to that, in a lot of them games we played okay. I think Brighton sort of maybe were better than us. In a lot of them, we were just, you know, we were bad tonight, Grizz. There was no fight. There was nothing. It's bad. The first half is the worst I've seen in a long time, including and all in that.
Yeah, no, but you got to take into the quality of the opposition in consideration. The quality, you're not going to get a better 3, more experienced 3 in midfield in world football for the last God knows how long.
Grizz, I agree there, but, and I will say this, if you put them under pressure and you put them under intense pressure, you can get through them. Madrid aren't the team they were 3 years ago. You know what I mean? They are an agent team that can be got at. We didn't lay a glove on them. We let them 3 dictate that game and didn't bother pressing them.
It's going to hurt a lot of Liverpool fans, but neither are we. We're not the same Liverpool team from last season. To implement that game plan, to implement that energy, that tactics, minus the Anfield crowd, we're not doing it.
The only one thing else before the only one thing that the European campaigns under Klopp has taught me, that he does sort of learn from that mistake. Maybe even in the league as well, the last 2 years especially, but especially in Europe, he does learn his mistake. Last season against Atletico Madrid, that second leg was almost picture perfect. It really was. Until Adrian's pass and then obviously Llorente and whatnot. Morata.
I agree.
So he does learn from this mistake. Is it one step too far? We'll only find out on the 14th of April, guys.
No, I agree. Absolutely agree. That's a very good point you make, because the second leg against Atletico Madrid was one of the most brilliant performances I can remember without the end reward. I thought we were superb, absolutely superb. Yeah. But the crowd was superb that game as well, lads. The crowd
negate for to have no crowd.
You just can't. That crowd was amazing that game. And you're right. We were an Adrian mistake away from one of the best results. And I'm telling you, because that Atletico Madrid were fucking one mean machine.
Yeah.
You know, at the peak of their defensive powers around that time. They've dipped a bit now, but at that time, look, as everyone keeps reminding me, we've come back from worse situations. But, this is, I think, in my opinion, it's one tall order too much.
Yeah. Ryan Kavanagh says, has Arnold's performance been mentioned? Surely we're pointing a finger at Arnold before Pep. Oh yeah, Ryan, we've pretty much gone through the team and lashed them all. Trent has come in for criticism. We're not trying to throw Pep Linders under the bus here and excuse Trent Arnold. Not at all. We criticise sort of everybody. I want to have a little chat, lads, about Naby Keita before we finish up, because where do we see his Liverpool career going? I, for one, right, I support anyone that'll play for Liverpool. Okay, I just think they're playing for Liverpool, they're doing good. I've been a Naby supporter since he's come. I've seen him at Leipzig. I was expecting one thing, I haven't got it. Grizz, what's going to happen with Naby Keita, in your opinion, after tonight?
It's difficult to say. You often talk about Klopp's loyalty, and it actually winds me up when you talk about his loyalty, because you say it in a positive way and I look at it in a negative way, and there's a balance in between. So my personal opinion is I would try to get as much money as I can for him while he's still at an age where we can get a hefty fee for him. I'm pretty sure we probably get more money for him than an Ox or a Shaq, in my opinion. He's still got sort of a big name in Germany. PSG made an inquiry for him last summer as well. Was rebuffed. Every inquiry for him has been rebuffed, which indicates Klopp is loyal to him and trusts him, and still thinks there's a future in him where he can have a significant say in this Liverpool team. I don't give a shit what stat you throw at me, whatever letter of the alphabet that you add on top of that stat to make it sound that Naby has had good games or has been a success at Liverpool when he's played. I don't see it. My eyes, and I trust my eyes. My eyes are one of the attributes that still work amazingly for me, and my eyes tell me that he's not been a success at Liverpool, and I can't see it in the foreseeable future. That's my opinion.
Yeah, he's not really had a defining moment. Even Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, whose Liverpool career has been curtailed for injury, in the Champions League run in 2018, was it 18? No, 17, 18. Oxlade-Chamberlain had immersed himself in the team, was a key component with getting important goals. Shaqiri can point at 2 goals against Man United down as a bit of a highlight for him. Divock has a bleeding list of defining moments, Avi. But Naby, it's not happened. He hasn't done anything. Grizz is right. The eye test, he hasn't passed it. He's a stat king apparently, but the eye test he just hasn't passed. He hasn't done anything.
These are players that Klopp courted at Liverpool for 2 years, right? We went all guns blazing to Ralph Rangnick and got this deal done in early 2017 for the following season. By that time, we had evolved as a team too, right? After that Kiev final, we had evolved. We had brought in a Fabinho. Our change of approach to games had changed. It was no longer the gegenpressing pressing. It was more not pragmatic as such, but solid at the back, get the result and keep the clean sheets and just, be precise. Naby's only game that I can recall where he played brilliant was Leicester. But when we came back from the World Club Championship, that 4-0, when Trent absolutely just blitzed the place up. That's the only game that I can recall Naby having a really good game. A few bits and pieces here against Porto in the quarters, Bayern Munich in the 0-0 at Anfield. But I think now
excellent team performances, but aren't they?
Now it's one of those. If you do get, I think he has still got a ceiling in Europe, especially in Germany, the Italian league, maybe where it's less strenuous. If you can get somewhere along, I think we can still get 30 million for him. I know Grizz is saying 20 million. I still think he can command a fee of 30 million. Unfortunately, I would probably take that now and look at replacements. There's players, Basuma, who's at Brighton, who would be a great replacement, not for Naby, but a great player in general, even if Genie decides to leave. But yeah, I think it could be Kearns. I think today was a big call from Klopp, hooking him off at the 42nd minute.
Yeah, think it was telling Grizz, wasn't he? You know, if he's 42 minutes and you're taking him off,
But
I think the loyalty might be running a bit low at that stage.
But you just never know with Klopp. This could be the thing that tips him in the other favour, in Naby's favour, in terms of
looks for a reaction.
I shouldn't have done that, or maybe looks for a reaction and says, you know what, I'm more than ever, you know, sort of stubborn. You could use the word stubborn. That I'm going to give you another chance, and you're going to sort of prove me wrong. You know, he's liable to do something like that as well. Jurgen Klopp, you just never know with him.
Yeah,
Naby has never been bad. He's always been injured. Got to go now. Well, this is the thing. Rajiv makes a point about he's never been bad. Look, he has been bad. You know,
because when a player comes, it never been bad, but you want to see a player at 56 million, what we paid for, and we waited a year. You want to see something sensational from him. Name me a sensational moment over a course of 90 minutes. He took that Gerrard number 8, right? And unfortunately, it's not worked out. We all wanted to work for Naby. We all like his personality, especially when we were celebrating the title last season. Everyone was saying, Naby lad, Naby lad. You know, we've seen those little video clips of him. We want it to work, but unfortunately, it hasn't. And 56 million, you want something special. You know, you want something special from a midfielder. You don't
sometimes you accept that we're not saying Naby's a bad player. I know what a flop in terms of ability wise, sort of, you know, going, you know, sort of saying that 56 minute, he's not worth 56 million at the time, that he's a poor player. Sometimes we have to accept, and sometimes players and coaches accept themselves, that certain players don't make it at certain clubs. It happens. He may go on to, let's say, get bought by Dortmund. I'm just giving you an example, and may go on to have a very good career at Borussia Dortmund. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I think it's cut our ties, to be honest with you, lads.
As Ashley says there, Naby just isn't built for the Premier League. I think he could do great in Germany or France. It's a loss in the books, though. It's true. Here's an interesting one. Georgie Wanfoot, Leicester fan. Sorry I'm late, but seen links today with Keita to Leicester. They have a few, Bob, haven't they? That might be one more.
But 99% of Liverpool fans tonight never expected Naby Keita to start tonight. We didn't expect that, especially when he didn't play any part of the Arsenal game. So it does make you question Klopp. Like, why would he want to play him against Madrid in a quarterfinal? Why didn't he go with his tried and trusted? Why didn't he go with Thiago, a player who was pivotal in Bayern Munich's success last season? Not just in the Champions League, but in the league success, in the domestic cup success as well. Why did he leave him out in a quarterfinal? That's what's baffling. It's not so much Naby tonight. It's so much like, why did he change it last minute? Like, not last minute even. Why did he change out all that midfield when we just demolished Arsenal? We just played Arsenal off the park, literally. And I know it's not, you know, there's a big difference between Arsenal and Real Madrid, but why didn't he stick with it?
But not even that. You leave out the player. You talked about Naby. You leave out the one player that you brought for games and nights like this. You know, Thiago wasn't bought, in my opinion, to play against Sheffield United away or Wolves away, in my opinion. I think he was bought to play players on the same technical level as him, on players on the same sharp intelligence levels as him, and give us that edge, or be on a par with players of that ilk. We just weren't. They were too clever and sharp for us. You know, we thought we had the legs on them, but it just shows you that the game up here is far more important than some of the physical attributes you may have, unfortunately.
Yeah. Very true. You know, it's one that's looking more and more, in my opinion, destined to be put down as a big bleeding failure, a big red flag. And as I said, I never want a player to fail at Liverpool. I'm not one of these that cheers against their players. I'll support Naby till the very end. But you know, it's looking like that end is coming sooner than we maybe expect, and who knows. But look, before we wrap it up, lads, I just want to, you know, give a bit of credit to Real Madrid as well. We can go on and be sore losers, this, that. They were very good tonight. We let them be very good. But similar to us with Arsenal, you still have to perform. And Real Madrid, we're lucky to get away with a 3-1 there, lads, in fairness. Real will probably feel they probably should have had 4 or 5. They were very good. But the tie isn't over yet. So, Grizz, something inspirational for the listeners before we finish up.
I wish the listeners and viewers could inspire me to something, to say something today. I'm a bit down today, but yeah, it's not over, is it?
No.
You know, we've seen crazier games in Europe over the years. A 2-0 victory at Anfield is not beyond a Liverpool team. I don't even think it's beyond this Liverpool team, but it's going to be an upward struggle. We have to play again, like against Atletico, the perfect game. We have to play the perfect game, and if we do, there's there's a chance that we can get through. But if we don't, we concede, and I can't see us scoring 3 personally. I thought, shout out to Militao. I thought he was superb. I thought he was man of the match. No, I beg your pardon. I thought Cruz was man of the match. But Militao showed us why we were interested in him, and they rebuffed it. But it is what it is. We go again, Anfield, under the lights, without the crowd. So yeah, we've got a chance. Get that. The first goal is crucial. We get that first goal, and then it's game on, and then we see how much we can raise it and affect their mentality.
Indeed. And Avi, give me something inspirational for the listeners before we go.
Yeah, look, we've been in this situation before, and if anything that I've learned from our success, even dating back from 2001, is we've never done it the easy way, right? We've never done it the easy way. So this could be the game where it has to be, like Grizz said, it has to be picture perfect, near perfect performance to get the early goal. And from there, the adrenaline, the momentum, if it shifts our way, then, we'll win, hopefully, and keep the clean sheet. Even if we win, it's just that scoreline it's a little bit dodgy. And with Vinicius, you do feel that he'll fancy his chances against a Trent, and I thought he was superb. A lot of clubs have looked at him because he hasn't settled at Madrid, but today was his finest performance. Yeah, I thought brilliant all round. Great 90 minutes from him.
Indeed. And look, lads, just to echo what the boys have said, we can still do it. We can get this. It's not over. Liverpool have a bit of fight in them, and I think sometimes the wounded animal is always the best position to be in. You'd nearly rather be going in where the toy isn't dead and buried, rather than maybe holding a 1-0 lead. So look, it's all to play for. Lads, we'll wrap it up there. It's been a long show. It's been emotional. We've had to talk for an hour and 15 minutes about that absolute garbage we've had to watch. But
we've done all right. We've done all right.
I just want to thank you for coming on, lads, and thank everyone for tuning in and listening, and all the support and all the super chats and all tonight. We appreciate it all. We appreciate all the support that we get on everything, on the channel. Anyone that hasn't subscribed, hasn't checked out the website, it's up and running now. It's excellent. LFCDT.com. There's all the shows are in there. The link to the Discord is in there. There's a chance to put opinion pieces up in the blogs in there, and that's flying. There's a lot of stuff going in. I'd encourage everyone to go on and have a look and see if there's anything they like. It's all happening. I don't know what's happening for the rest of the week, but I'm sure have you a carnage this week, Riz, or what's the story?
Yeah, we'll have a carnage set up by Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm sure Jamie will be on tomorrow. Grizz will be on Thursday. Chris will be on Friday. A packed week as always with the Daytrippers at the moment. But look, we'll be back as soon as we can. Hopefully a bit more upbeat tomorrow.
No carnage. We'll liven it up. We'll get Avi to do some singing or something.
Avi, can you play the tin whistle?
No, that's not
Not really, no.
I'll teach you. You can start playing the tin whistle. That's what we do when we're feeling down.
Exactly.
But look, we've been the Daytrippers. This has been the Red Reaction, and we'll see us all again soon.